Hello, second graders, mathematicians. Today we're going to look a little bit more at some picture graphs. And yesterday we looked at some picture graphs about fruit and also about some stickers that some students liked. Well, today we are going to look at some picture graphs that have to do with some different topics, and our keys are going to get a little bit more challenging, and so are some of our questions. So this should be a little more interesting. If you thought yesterday's was not too tricky, this should be a little bit more of a challenge for us. So let's take a look at page 105 in our textbooks. It says a group of children use this table to make a picture graph showing the places they like to visit. So some children like to visit the zoo. Looks like about 15 kids like to visit the zoo. Raise your hand if you like to visit the zoo. Oh, we do too. Can't visit the zoo right now, but maybe it will open soon. Botanic gardens. Ooh, and that's a place with lots of flowers and lush greenery. And my family, we went to visit the Butchart Gardens in British Columbia this last summer. My husband's family is from Canada, from British Columbia, and there's beautiful gardens. So we went there last summer. Really pretty. The amusement park. 12 kids like to go to the amusement park, and 12 kids like to go to the beach. The beach is always fun. All right, so now with this same information, this is kind of a little table. With the same information from this table, they have made this graph. And we need to figure out, oh, wait a second, let's look at the key. What? They haven't given us the number that each of these stars stands for. How can we figure it out? Each star stands for blank children. Well, let's see. Can we use the information on this table up here? We know that 15 children liked going to the zoo. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars that represent kids that like the zoo. Oh, perhaps we could divide. What is 15 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? 15 divided by 5. Oh, let's see. I know 5 times what number equals 15? 5 times 3, right? 5 times 3 or 3 times 5 is 15. So 15 divided by 5 would be 3. That means that each of these stars stands for 3. And let's check to make sure that would make sense. So this would be 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Let's check the botanic gardens. If we figured out that each star stands for 3, then this would be 3, 6. And I think we did it correctly because 6 kids like to go to the botanic gardens. All right, let's check the amusement park. 3, 6, 9, 12. Yep, and the beach, 3, 6, 9, 12. All right, so each of those stars stands for 3. Let's see, use the graph to complete the following. Okay, so we have 7 boys and blank girls like to visit the amusement park. Well, let's go back to the amusement park. And we have 3, 6, 9, 12. So 12 kids like to go to the amusement park. So they are saying if there were 7 boys, how many girls like to visit the amusement park? So it's kind of like thinking about, well, let's see. 7, there's 7 boys, plus how many girls? So we're kind of trying to find a missing part, right? We know there's 7 boys. I'm not sure how many girls, but we know there are 12 altogether, 12 children like the amusement park. So we could write 12 children. Looks like my marker is going out. Because we know that 12 kids like the amusement park. 3, 6, 9, 12, 12 of them. So we can think about, well, if there are 7 boys, we need to figure out how many girls make 12 children. So to find the missing part, we subtract, right? So we can think about 12 minus 7 to find our missing part. So 12 minus 7, we can also think about 7 plus what gets us up to 12. And I know 7 plus 3 gets me up to 10, and 2 more makes 12. So our missing part would be 5. So 5 girls and 7 boys like the amusement park because 12 children altogether. Alrighty. Our next question, it says the blank is the most popular place. So the one the students or the children like the best. And we can see very clearly from this graph that the highest sort of bar, the tallest number of stars is the zoo. So we could say the zoo is the most popular place. All right, part C, it says blank more children like to visit the zoo than the botanic gardens. So here we could either look at the table with just the numbers or the picture graph. So there's kind of two different places we could look here, the table or the graph. And if we are comparing the zoo to the botanic gardens, we could look at the picture graph to help us, or we could look up here. We know that 15 kids like the zoo, 6 kids like the botanic gardens. To find out how many more like the zoo, we're going to subtract. So 15 minus 6. Another thing that we could do is we could sort of line up the stars. Here's the zoo, here's the botanic gardens. So if we cover up like one star, and then we cover up the next star, and then we can see how many more, cover those up, and then we have 3 more stars. Remember, each one of these stands for 3, 3, 6, 9. So 9 more kids. 15 minus 6, let's see, is that 9? I think so, because 6 plus 9 is 15. So 9 more children like the zoo. All right, and our last question on this page, it says a new ride opened at the amusement park, and some of the children changed their choices. Sometimes that happens, doesn't it? Change our minds. 6 more of them now want to go to the amusement park instead of the zoo. How many stars would be used for the amusement park on the new picture graph? So let's see, if we have 6 more kids now like the amusement park better, so here's the amusement park, and if we wanted to add 6 more kids, remember that each star, for this one, each star stood for 3 children. So we would need 3, 6. We would need 2 more stars to represent those extra 6 kids. So altogether, we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There would be 6 stars to show how many kids now like the amusement park if they change their minds. All right, so let's take a look at one more graph together today. This is on the next page. And it says, this picture graph shows the number of different types of fish sold by Justin. Okay, so Justin is selling some fish. We've got angelfish, guppies, goldfish, tiger barb, never heard of those, swordtail, all right. And very important that we look at our key. Each circle stands for 5 fish. So I can see right away, this one only has 1 circle. So he must have sold 5 tiger barb fish. And here we have swordtail would be 5, 10. This would be 10, right? And we can skip count by 5, or we could multiply. So I could say 5, 10, or I could say 5 times 2 is 10. Another prudent idea, we'll talk about this when we look in our workbook, is just to write the number next to each one of these. That's kind of a helpful strategy so that we don't get mixed up when we're answering questions about a graph. So in your workbook, you could just go ahead and write 5, 10, and this one, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. We could just put 25 here. We could put 25 here. And then angelfish. Well, let's see. I know 5 times 4 is 20. Or we could skip count 5, 10, 15, 20. And I would just write 20 next to there. So it says use the graph to complete the following. Okay, so now they've given us the graph. and they want us to kind of fill in this table. So it's kind of reversed to what we were working on the other page. They gave us the table and we had to kind of figure out the graph. But here they're asking us to sort of fill in the table here. So he sold as many blank as guppies. So I think with this question, they're asking us which other type of fish did he sell the same amount of as guppies? So if we look up here at our guppies, here's our guppies, and we can see that guppies and goldfish have the same number of circles. So that means that he sold as many goldfish as guppies, the same number of goldfish and guppies. He sold blank goldfish and swordtails all together. All right, so let's look at the goldfish and the swordtails. So now we're trying to find out how many of these two he sold all together. Well, I'm going to go ahead and multiply 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 circles times 5. 7 times 5 is 35. So he sold 35 goldfish and swordtails. If you don't want to multiply, you could skip count. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So he sold 35 of those altogether. Part C, he sold all the goldfish for $2 each. He received blank dollars. So let's look at the goldfish. And the goldfish, first of all, let's count how many he had. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 5 is 25. So he sold 25 goldfish, or we could skip count. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So he sold 25 goldfish, and they were $2 each. So we can think about, well, 25 fish at $2 each, we can multiply $25 fish times $2. Now you might be thinking, Ms. Taylor, we haven't learned how to multiply by 25. Whoops. I need a new marker here, don't I? Don't think I have one up there. So we've got, okay, I'm going to try a new strategy. Oh, I have a piece of paper here. So you might be thinking, well, Miss Taylor, we have not learned how to multiply by 2. Well, we know he had 25 goldfish, and they were $2 each. Is there a way we can figure this out? 25 goldfish times $2 each. Well, if we do 25 times 2, that's the same as, remember how multiplication is kind of like repeated addition? 25 times 2 is the same as 2 25 times, or 25 2 times. So now we could go like this, 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, 25 times, right? We could definitely do that. Or we could do 25 2 times. I think it's a little bit speedier to do it this way. 25 plus 25, we know that is 50. Okay, so you could skip count 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 to that 25 times, but it would be a little bit quicker to say, well, I know 25 plus 25 is 50. So if each of the goldfish are $2 and he sold 25 of them, he received $50. Ooh, 50 bucks. All right. The last question on this page, it says he collected $30 from selling the swordtails. He sold each swordtail for blank dollars. All right, so he collected $30 from selling the swordtails. Let's see, in the swordtails, he had 5, 10. He had 10 of them, right? Because each circle stands for 5, 5, 10. So 10 swordtails, and he got $30. So 10 times something equals $30. Because he had 10 swordtails, and we're trying to find out how much money did each of them cost. 30 times what? Or 10 times what equals 30? Ooh, we could use the opposite. division to figure out the answer. So 30 divided by 10 would be 3. And we know 3 times 10 is 30. So 10 times 3 is also 30. So that means that each swordtail cost $3. All right. Your homework for today is pages 152 to 155. Let's take a look at those pages. All right. So here on 152, we are working on, if you were looking at some different graphs and they had different symbols, different picture graphs might have different symbols. If each star stands for 5 fish, then 2 stars would stand for, so you could multiply or skip count. You could say, well, 5 times 2 is 10, or you could say 5, 10, or 5 plus 5 is 10. All right, how about this one? Each square or little diamond stands for 10 cars. So 3 of them stand for blank cars. Well, that would be 10, 20, 30. Or you could multiply 10 times 3 equals 30. All right. Let's get down to this one, number 2. Let's see, each square stands for 3 balloons. Color the correct number of squares to show 15 balloons. Well, if each one stands for 3, and I know 3 times a certain number equals 15, or I could divide 15 divided by 3. 15 divided by 3, well, I know 3 times 5 is 15. So 15 divided by 3 would be 5. So I think we're going to have to color in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see, would that make sense? Color the correct number of squares to show 15 balloons. And if each one stands for 3, let me skip count. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. I think we're right. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Oh, but I'm going to stop at 15. All right, so there's our fun skip counting song. And let's see, if each triangle stands for 10 flowers, color the correct number of triangles to show 60 flowers. Ooh, so that would be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, right? Moving on. Let's see, the picture graph shows David's savings. Ooh, it's David again. So much of David. Hi, David. David's savings in 4 months. So it looks like David has saved up some money in March and April and May and June. And each diamond stands for $3. So what we're supposed to do is study the graph. So kind of take a look at it. If I were you, I would probably write the money that he saved right above it. So like right here, for April, I know that David saved $3 because there's only one of these diamond shapes, $3. I can look over here and I can say, oh, June, I know would be $6. And I would just write $6 right here. That kind of helps me. I like to write the amount right by it. All right, and then we're going to complete the table below. So for a table, it usually just has words and numbers. So I think what we're supposed to do here is just write David's savings for March would be, we look up at the graph, if each one stands for $3, 3, 6, 9. So we would just write $9. And you can just write a dollar sign and the number 9. All right, for April, we can see that he saved $3 because there's only one diamond. So we're just going to fill in this table with the amount, and then we have some questions to answer. Be careful with this first one. We are comparing how much more money he saved in May than in April. So they're not just asking us about May, they're saying how much more money in May than in April. So we're comparing these two, May and April. You could cover up, well, here they're the same. And then you can see May has 3 more diamonds. We know 3 times 3 to get the answer there. All right. And let's see, the next page, we have some more questions about a different graph, about some kids who collected some stamps, Ian, Matthew, Ryan, and Annie. And we have one more graph on the last page about some fish again. Each triangle stands for 5 fish. And then we have a few questions to answer. Now here we're going to write yes or no for each of the following. So you're going to write Carlos caught 6 fish. You're either going to write yes or no. So Carlos, 6 fish. Well, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 triangles, but those triangles do not stand for one fish. Each triangle stands for 5 fish. So for this first one, they're trying to trick us here. We're going to write no. Carlos caught 6 fish. No, he didn't. What about this one? Jackie caught 15 fish. Well, let's see. Here's Jackie. 5, 10, 15. This one would be yes. So we're just going to write yes right there. All right. So that is your homework for today. Again, kind of like I mentioned yesterday, it would be sort of fun if you wanted to make your own picture graph with your family, kind of a creative thing to do. You could think about, we had a lot of questions about fishing today. Maybe you'd like to make a graph about some different kinds of fish that you like, or something that you would like to see at an aquarium. Alrighty, good work today, and I will see you soon. Bye, mathematicians.